business plan development. All right. So let me just jump into it. Okay. All right. So this is part of the Global Entrepreneurship Week. All right. Time Entrepreneur, we are partnering with MusicTT to provide this session with you or for you. All right. Business plans, your business story. And that is really the focus of what we'll be having today. It'll be a discussion. A business plan is not, I'll start by making this analogy. Probably females might be able to understand better than males. But I haven't taught one for guys as yet, but this is what I want to make the analogy. People treat a business plan like a wedding dress. So they really work on it as for a special one-time occasion. You know, they do a lot of work on it. It costs a lot of money, a lot of effort and all that, and it's the best thing since sliced bread, right? But you only use it once, and then you shelve it. And that is not what a business plan is supposed to be like. A business plan, if I extend the analogy, is supposed to be more like a business suit, right? As opposed to a wedding dress, because you'll be using it almost all the time. You'll be using it over and over and over, right? So, business plan is just, so what is a business plan? It is a written description of your business's future. A document that says what you plan to do and how you plan to do it. And it's inherently strategic, right? You start at a particular point with certain resources, right, and capabilities. And then after a certain number of years, a certain point in the future, you plan to end up with a different set of resources and capabilities and stuff like that. And the plan shows how you get from here to there. That is what a business plan is, right? So why is it important? It's a tool to help you build a better business. It helps explain your business's story, and it has to be a living document. Living document meaning that as the business changes and evolves, your business plan is supposed to change and evolve. It's supposed to be probably leading the change and the evolution, right? As your market, your environment, the realities of the market that you operate in changes, you should be revisiting your business plan from time to time and updating it, right? The key thing is that you must understand your business plan. Understand with a capital U, your business plan, all caps, right? Is your business plan. So it must be like one of those, there are some books that you flip through every day. And there are some books that you just look at maybe once in a while, once a year, once every 2 years or something like that. A business plan is something that you should be tinkering with, making little changes here, there, whatever. But you can only do that if you understand your plan, right? So understanding your plan is key because, as I said at the start here, is your business's story. You're telling the story of your business through your business plan, right? So that's a key element. Now, who are you telling your story to, right? So the potential readers of a business plan can range from bankers to venture capitalists to employees. Each of those readers would have a particular type of interest, right? if you understand those interests, and you'll be able to customize or adjust your business plan to suit the audience that you plan to have it sent to. So, if you're telling a story to bankers, all right, they'll be more interested in the bottom line. They're interested in figures. So everything you say, right, you have to, and well, in the business plan as a whole, anything you say, you have to convert it into figures. It must make sense in the balance sheet, the cash flow, the profit and loss, budgeted profit and loss, and stuff like that, even break even and all that. Bankers will be interested in figures. So you have to ensure that your figures are significant. The information you have there about your business matches with what you say that you're going to do. Venture capitalists might be looking at your basic business concept and your management team because they want to assess how strong your business idea is before they decide to invest in your business. You or your business manager or the managers, or the people that help you manage your business, it will basically be a plan to remind themselves of the goals of the business and what resources need to be put in place and all those sort of things, right? And potential employees may use it to see the direction, assess the direction and vision of the company, and decide if they want to be a part of it. So you see, you're telling a story, and you have to be mindful of who is reading the story or listening to the story that you're trying to tell about your business. And then that will guide you, right? So elements of your story, you have opportunity, management, execution, and finance. In terms of opportunity, right? That will include things like value proposition. In other words, what are you offering? What value are you offering the customer, right? The product, the target market, the competition. All those things together spell out the opportunity, because you'll be using these things to show that, hey, yeah, there's an opportunity here, X, Y, Z. This question, this answers these questions. What are you actually selling? How are you solving a problem or need for your market? And who is your target market and competition? Right? This is critical because the opportunity part is what differentiates you a lot from your competition. You see opportunity, and opportunity means that something exists out there. There's some sort of potential market that nobody else is tapping into. You see it, so you structure a business in order to take advantage of that and to generate revenue, generate income, and all of that, right? That's what opportunity speaks to. Now we'll go into a little bit more detail when we break it down in another way. Execution deals with how you go about achieving what you're set about achieving in terms of the opportunity. How would you capture the opportunity, right? Marketing and sales promotion, your operations, milestones, these things that you lay out to help you stay focused, right? And that really speaks to how you're going to take your opportunity and turn it into a business. So operations, of course, that's critical. Without operations, you have no business really. Your marketing and your sales plan really speaks to how you're going to reach out to your customers and make them aware of the product and become interested in actually buying the product. And your milestones, those are really things that you yourself, the goals that you set, you would have had certain goals for the business, and All right, and out of those goals would have been certain things that would tell you that you are on the right track. So let's say you say that you want to be the largest pan stick maker in Trinidad, right? Some milestones might be, for example, being able to sell maybe 20,000 or $10,000 worth of sticks for the first quarter or something, or both nationally and internationally. If you have that, if you worked out that part of it, that sort of thing. So those are milestones. And like probably the next year, you would say at the end of the year, you might say, okay, I want to reach 20,000 by the end of this year, and so on and so on. Different things that you use to help guide you towards your goal, right? Those are milestones. So that forms part of your execution. And then the management and basically your team and the structure of your business, right? Who's actually directing and keeping everybody focused on achieving what has to be achieved in business. Right, and then finance, accounting for the money that will drive and generate a return for the business. So that will deal with how much does it cost to operate the business, how are you going to pay for the things that you need for the business, right? How well do you expect the business to perform? It will highlight those things, right, through what you put in your finance, that element of your story. Right. So here are 4 key areas to ensure that your plan contains a business description, a marketing plan, management/operations really, and a financial plan. So these are 4 important areas. All right. So in terms of your business description, right, we could start with a summary. We provide an overview of the goals of your business, the legal structure, location, and history if you're already up and running. So your description, the business description, really is about identifying the goals and objectives, and it should clarify why you are or why you want to be in business, right? So that's what your business description should be about. You indicate that I am here to revolutionize the whatever niche in the music industry you're trying to conquer, right? You're trying to you have certain goals that relate to that, right? Your business description should identify those things, right? As I said, it will include legalities. Now, as I said, this is about a story that you're telling. If your business does not have a lot to say about legalities, if you're a company, for example, if you're a limited liability company, this would be something that's more important. You still have to say it, right? But with a company, a limited liability company, you have to list your directors, your corporate secretary, your board of directors, right? If you're a partnership, you have to list all the partners, probably like based on the nature of what experience they have, what contribution they have, the share of the ownership structure, right? If you are, however, a sole proprietor, meaning that here's a one-man show, basically, you run everything. This doesn't have to be an entire section, right? It varies, as I said, based on the nature of your business and how complicated, how complex your business is, right? Licenses or permits that you will need, like if it is you are I know that there's a lot of copyright related stuff, like, for example, if you are selling other people's music, or if you're manufacturing CDs of hand music, making copies, manufacturing CDs, right? You must respect the intellectual property of the artists and stuff like that, right? So whatever you're doing, there would be some sort of legal issue or area that would pertain to that particular item that you're dealing with, right? Your business type, right? If you're merchandising, manufacturing, like retail or whatever, manufacturing, or if you're a service, under your business description, you describe what your product or service is, exactly what it is, right? You talk about the business, if it is a new independent business, if it is you bought it from someone and you're restructuring it, and that sort of thing. Indicates what are the opportunities for growth, right? And you more or less provide some information about the type of business that you are operating, right? Under the product or service part that we just spoke about, you try to describe the benefits of your goods and services from your customer's perspective, right? So you describe what you're selling, how your product or service will benefit the customer, which products or services are in demand, and if there will be a steady flow of cash from those particular products and services. And then extremely important is what is different about the product or service your business is offering. All right, we call that the USP, or the unique selling point. So some people might, I've seen a lot of, I did a little Google search this morning, and I saw a lot of people have handmade, not handmade, but handcrafted pans, right, as their selling point, to differentiate it from those that are made via the more mechanized means in the US and in Japan and all that kind of stuff, right? That's a USP, right? Assuming that there aren't the customers that you're targeting and exposed to a lot of handmade, handcrafted pans. Like in Trinidad, we understand every pan handcrafted, handmade. So this wouldn't be a USP for Trinidad market, but it might be for another market, right? Right, stuff like the location of your business. All right, all of this that you can see here. Sometimes location is important, especially for a retail type business. All right. I want to find out, just to kind of, to help me give you some additional context. What type of businesses are you all engaged in on the music side? If you haven't started it as yet, what types of businesses are you looking to start? You planning to start? So I would have an idea of what types of examples I could use to guide you all. You can just send the question in the chat. All right. So the question is, what type of business are you all engaged in or plan to engage in? So I would be able to give you some more context. But sometimes location, based on the nature of the business, sometimes location doesn't play a major part, right? Based on the nature of the business, and especially now in times like these with COVID and all that, and a lot of places are now going virtual. So those that have a specific location, they are now going virtual as well, because people can't get to their location, or it's not as convenient to get to their location because of all the restrictions, right? So just give me a sense of what sort of businesses are you all? Okay, Steelpan manufacturing. All right. That's Shireen. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. All right. So I just see Steelpan. Right. Here it is. Let me share my screen with you. Share my screen. Right. Don't get lost with the thing. Right. Check out this here. Right. I hope you all are seeing this. Just this morning when I was doing the test for this session, I just said, okay, well, let me see the types of businesses that are out there. So you see here Cosmopan, musical instruments, manufacturing, tuning of pans. You have Pan Chicago, Canada Instruments Limited, Pan World, the steel pans handcrafted. So the handcrafted thing I was talking about. Panyard Precision Steel Pan Instruments, handcrafted and tuned by Earl Bong. Steelpan Company, Steelpan's Records, Steelpan Music, Steelpan Books, Steel Tone Music. In Germany, you have WWK. I think that's what it is. Steel drums, right? So they do in Japan, high quality handcrafted steel pans from new steel. You see they're using the handcrafted thing there. All right, that's Japan. Netherlands, Steel Band Shop. Yeah, Panorama Steel Drums, Richardson Steel Drums in Switzerland and Trinidad. You have Lincoln Enterprises. I'm not sure if he's still 68. I repeat, I'm not sure if he's still at that. Sosata Tuning Facility, Steel Pan Pillow, Stickland Pan Sticks, Steel Pan Pan Sticks made in Trinidad. Right, Trinidad Instruments, Trinidad Tobago Pan Instrument Company Limited, all in one. All right, Samar House. In UK, you have Steelpan International, USA, Tuku. Right, this one manufactures steel drum stands that are custom made to order. Accurate percussion, pan making, tuning and retaining company. So there's a tuner. Pan making, Hillbridge Music, concerts. So you see what this is their goals. This is the focus of this particular business. You see here they have committed to promoting steel drums as legitimate concert instruments by providing the finest in audience tested music arrangements for all occasions. So they provided music arrangements, right? High quality steel drums, Bertie Marshall, right? So they are providing music arrangements for all occasions. I don't know if they mean the actual arrangement of the music or the songs that they play is suitable for all um, audiences. But you see what I'm saying here in terms of these are elements that would be in your business plan. Why you are in business, what it is you're offering the customer. Manette musical instruments, right? Here is about education. Manette Musical Instruments is an innovative company designed to meet the needs of today's steel band performers and educators, right? Okay, Ellie Manette, right? So he is going one step further in terms of dealing with educators and performers, right? Mau, New York City Pan Network, Pan Press, Pan Yarn Incorporated. They're selling accessories, steel pans, accessories, recordings, and sheet music for pans. All right. Steel Island, Solomon, Steel Company, Steel Planet Music, Steel Pan Instruments, Trinidad No Drums, Tropical Hammer Crafters, right? Providers of steel drum music. This is Tropical Shores Production, right? Sheet drum bands, steel drum music for individuals, and steel drum bands are like providers of steel drum music for individuals. Okay, I guess okay. Vistapan provides steel pans, steel band drums, and steel pan accessories to schools and universities, community steel drum bands, and steel band musicians across the US and to 73 countries worldwide. All of our steel pan instruments are full size and made by Trinidadian pan builders and tuners to have superb sound quality. And you give the number there, right? You're seeing what they're saying here, right? You're getting the picture. These little one-liners or little paragraphs, mini paragraphs, they're talking about, they're describing the business, they're describing the product, what they're about, why they're in business, right? And their unique selling proposition. Let me go back to here and take the share off, right? Restart the presentation, start here, right? So those elements there, right? What are you selling? Right? How your product or service will benefit the customer, right? What is different about the product or service your business is offering? Its unique selling point. I use a different word after, right? It's USP, right? What is different about your product or service? That is critical, right? So just as you saw in all of those other businesses there, right? You need to look at your market, right? That's another element of your story, right? Demonstrate that you have thoroughly analyzed the target market and that there is enough demand for your product or service to make your business viable, right? The competitive analysis includes an assessment of your competition and how your business will compete in the sector. And target market or description of the target or the analysis and the competitive analysis portions can be two separate sections in a plan or combine as shown. So you could have your market analysis by itself, and then you can look at the competition, your competitive analysis, right? With your market analysis, looking at the market that you're targeting and determining if there's enough demand for your product or service to make your business viable, right? So you have to determine. Firstly, you have to determine if you're looking narrowly at your market, or if you're looking broader. You're taking a broader perspective on your market. So narrow might be that you are targeting people that are into pan, that are already into pan, and you might be giving them real professional stuff. So some high-end stuff, you might be doing little specialty sticks that are really high quality. You might be doing high quality pads. You might be doing board tenor pads and stuff like that that are more expensive and whatnot. You might be doing a lot of high end stuff, right? Or you might decide that your target market is a bit broader. You might take a broader view of it and look at it as music in general or education. So you might be trying to target schools, right? You might be trying to target schools. You might be trying to target places that other instruments are part of. Right. Besides schools, there might be some orchestras that you might want to service, so it really depends on how you might even target the the gift sector, right? Somebody wants to give a gift of a pan, right? It's the novelty. It might be a novel thing for them and all that, and you might say yes, there's a market there. People just like pans and stuff like that. So let me try and see how I can target that market, that part of the market, right? But you have to show that there's enough room in the market for your business to be viable, right? And the competitive analysis will include an assessment of your competitors. Right? So you can define a target market for your product or service based on the geographical location. You need to define your actual customer. Who is the person that will be buying your stuff? The needs for your products or services. Estimate the overall size of the market and the units of your products or services the target market might buy, right? And then potential repeat purchase volume and how the market might be affected by economic or demographic changes. So like this whole COVID element, if you already had done a business plan, you had to pull it back out and reassess everything in light of COVID-19, right? How the market might change, might be affected by economic, demographic, and in this case, health or pandemic issues, right? That's part of the analysis you have to look at. Is the market smaller now? Is it bigger? That sort of thing, right? You have to also estimate the volume and value of your sales in comparison with any existing competitors, right? And sometimes it helps to summarize it in a table. So in this here, you can see that, all right, I have these people doing almost the same thing that I am doing, and you get as much information about them. You have a nice little matrix going there, right? And you see where the gap is. And from this here, competitor A and competitor B, you can see that price, you have low quality for average price, and you have average quality for high price. So there's a gap in the market for high quality goods in a particular market that you are looking at, right? So these are things that you can do. Some potential sources of information, this type of information would be like business associations, places like MusicTT and stuff like that, or the CSO actually. You want to know how many, if it is you are targeting the local market, right? And this is based on what it is you're selling. If it's pants, it's a little difficult because Trinidad don't really import pants from anywhere. But we may export, right? And if that information is captured, you might be able to find out how much pans are exported from Trinidad. Internationally, in the more developed world, their statistics gathering tends to be better than what we have here. So you might even be able to, if you do some research, be able to come up with statistics in Europe, Japan, the States, for that will describe the level of imports of steel pans and stuff like that. So you get an idea of how where the market stands in terms of that, right? Those are just two examples. The internet is like an encyclopedia, it's like a library, right? You can do your research with based on who your markets, the particular product or service you're offering, and you can get some really substantial information, right? But you can also check out, as I said, business associations and stuff like that. They may also have some information that would be helpful. All right. This is just a market assessment and looking at how competitive you are. Once that is determined, right, you need now to determine how you're going to entice customers to buy your products or services, right? And that includes the 4 Ps: price, product, place, price, product, place, promotion, right? So advertising and promotion, the pricing strategy, place would be the distribution part of it, right? Wholesale support if applicable, right? That's it there. Under this area, you would be describing how you would distribute your product to the customer, right? Will you be selling wholesale or retail? What type of packaging would be required? How will the product be shipped? What methods will be used for payment, right? Exporting or just targeting the local market, right? Those are some of the things that you need to consider. All right, so you have the sales and distribution part of it, the promotion, and list all the different media that you use to get your message to customers, right? Right, what marketing materials they use. Your websites are business websites, email, social media, then traditional media like newspapers and stuff like that. I would say that the website now is perhaps the most important of the media as a tool to promote your business is almost like your international address, essentially. In terms of all these things, advertising and promotion, it's important that you budget for it, that you develop an approximate budget for advertising and promotion. Right, so your pricing strategy, you basically, you have different things that you can do. You can enter the market with a low price, and then to penetrate the market, to get into the market, and then as you settle into the market and you gain a certain foothold, then you increase your price, or you price at a premium to begin with. In order for your product to be considered a luxury item, and you have your full set of marketing and advertising support activities to support that that positioning of your good, right? So you can see what I have here in terms of you're describing how you intend to price your product or services or service. Pricing has to be competitive to attract customers, but high enough to cover costs and generate a profit. Pricing can be based on markup or value to the buyer, or in comparison with similar products. So in terms of this value to the buyer thing, something could be worth, I know that this thing cost me $5, but for some reason, my customers are willing to pay $60 for it. All right. In a case like that, I'm not going to add a 25%, right, and sell it for a $125, $5 or $6.25. I sell it at $1.25 more, and people are willing to pay $60 for it, right? That's what the value to the buyer elements comes into play, right? Or it could be that you look around the market and you see people pricing around a certain price, you price close to it, either just below, just above, or exact, and you just ease into the market like that, right? Tools like Breakeven Analysis can help you determine the sales and pricing that you need to have in place in order to be profitable, right? Right, so this element of your plan here, the operations / management plan, right? So your management plan, investors look for great teams in addition to great ideas. So under here, you describe your current team and who you'll need to hire, right? The management and staffing requirements of your business. Right? Key positions, how they'll be compensated. Again, as I say, based on the level of complexity of your business, you may need to go into a lot of details in terms of all of these things here, right? But if your business is a more simple endeavor, right? You may not need to have an organizational chart if it's just two people, right? Or worse yet, if it's just you, right? There's no need for an organizational chart. But if your business is probably like what, 6, 7 people, 10, and you're growing, right? Yeah, you need an organizational chart because you need to. That will be good to have in your business plan, so that people will see how your business is structured, right? In terms of your human resource, right? Oh, and actually this part here with the human resources, where you're listing the type and number of employees or contractors you will need, and an estimate of the salary and benefits versus cost of each. This is it's good to do this exercise. Is good to do because there are some things that you can outsource, and there are other things that it is better for you to do in-house, to hire somebody to do it. And even with that, there are even different dimensions of that. You could hire somebody temporarily, right? Or you could hire somebody permanently, right? So, or as I say, you could outsource it and contract it to somebody outside of your business. So this element is important. And how you describe your approach here, right, will have implications for your cost, right? If you're paying a fixed cost, a salary or wage to somebody every month, or if you are just going to use certain services as you need them. So you hire when you either hire somebody temporarily for your peak seasons and stuff like that, or you just contract it out get people to do certain things and pay them for their service. Right now, the operating plan is about the physical requirements of the business, right? What is required? Your spacing, equipment, your inventory, how you're laying things out. If it's a factory, how you're laying out all your equipment, how you're going to get the best out of whatever production line you have, you plan to set up and stuff like that. That's what the operating plan is about. So we're talking about your production workflow, right? In terms of, that's for people like the business that are into manufacturing. So you would have a workflow, a way that you lay out your flow, your factory flow for your instruments, right? So you describe your production workflow, right? Explain how long it takes to produce a unit and stuff like that. Right, facilities and equipment. Right, so this staffing is in line with what we said before, right? And supplies relate to how you manage your inventory and how you intend to manage your inventory. Right. Now, this part of the plan, the financial plan, is the one that sometimes gives a lot of people trouble, right? I want to hear from you all before going to the financial part of it. I want to hear if you all have any questions, if you all want to ask anything. I saw that 3 people indicated the types of businesses that they identified. Kyra is a preschool music scores using colors. Oh, that's really interesting. Kamara is Mahalia is a Panis, right? Okay. Kamara is an online workshop directed to students, teaching skills in different creative industries, okay? Right, and Shireen is the Steelpan manufacturing. All right, okay, this is good. So Mahalia is a service, she's providing a service, she's a Panis, so she's providing a service. That's her business model, right? And she would, of course, brand herself accordingly. The preschool music scores using colors for the mini pan. So you are targeting children, right? That's your audience. And you have an interesting audience, target market, because your competition isn't only other people who are selling pans to children. Your competition would include anything that is being sold to children, education-wise, right? At that age. So it comes down to like share wallet, right? What are the other things that take up the money from the parents that has money to spend on their children, on their child, their preschool child, right? And you would have to discover different strategies in order to get at your target market, whether you're working with kindergartens, trying to link up with those associations, those government, there's the government kindergarten schools. I forget early learning. I forget what's the name, what they call it. So so your strategy there, in terms of trying to get hold of that market would be, you try to link up with teachers, principals at kindergartens or owners of kindergartens, teachers, parents of preschool children, right? The online workshop directed to students teaching skills in different creative industries. I'm not sure exactly the nature of the workshop, so I can't speak to it, but you would be looking at your competition, of course, would be other online education services, right? Now, almost everything is online. Every online services or people doing the same thing that you're doing, but doing it offline, right? So those are your market areas, the people that you should be looking at, seeing, trying to assess the level of business that they have, seeing what gaps exist in the market, and you tweaking your product or tweaking your service to make it a little bit more pertinent to them, more unique, right? So remember the unique selling point, right? So it's always a constant change. It's constant change. You're always trying to modify your service to make sure that what you're offering is the best. But what you're offering, people can't just go somewhere else and say they get the same thing, because your thing is so unique. You cater for things that the rest of the market didn't cater for, right? So I got these 4 people here that talk about business. Now, as I say, your business plan is your business story. You're telling the story of your business, right? There are some things that would not be relevant to your business, right? And what I shared just now, you have to choose and take what makes sense for your business. So let me go back, just show you some things here. If I can make this go quicker. All right. Okay, this minutes. Let's see previous. All right. All right. It's not but what I had in front was the 4 areas, but we'll come back to it as we go down to the bottom of the presentation, right? So the part that we're going to now is a financial plan, right? This could stand on its own, really. Essentially, everything that you mentioned or you spoke about in the other sections that we dealt with earlier must find its way into this section. So, for example, if it is you decide that you're hiring 2 people on a permanent basis, that will find its way into the financial side by in the expenses part, dealing with salaries. So salaries will be a certain figure because of what you indicated you would do in terms of the number of people that you're hiring. If it is just you work out your advertising budget as I indicated earlier, the advertising and promotion expense will be affected by that. If it is you decide to export, right? As how you're going to distribute your products, right? That will affect your expenses. It will affect your revenues. You may need to have like a US account or whatever. So your finance section reflects everything that you have in the other thing. If you're renting a place, in terms of the location part, it will appear in your finance section, right? So it is probably the most important section of the business plan, especially if you need to take out a loan or if you want to attract investors, right? It has to demonstrate that your business will grow and be profitable, right? To do this, you need to create projected income statements, cash flow statements, forecasted cash flow statements, and budgeted balance sheets, right? So those three sets of financial information will encapsulate a lot about the business, right? Right. Now, another area that you would need to also deal with is break-even analysis. Break-even analysis, I think we had kind of hinted on about it before when we were talking about pricing. That is basically a method of determining how many items, how many units you have to sell before you are able to cover your costs, right? Before you break even. Right? So that is important because you want to show that you'll break even pretty easily based on the analysis you did and all that. That it wouldn't be impossible. So in other words, you won't be making losses forever. That's what that says. Right? You also need to set up your you need to describe your accounting system and the inventory control system that you'll be using. All right. So I don't know if the pan manufacturer, what sort of system you use to control your inventory, right? Because of course you have your drums, the material that you use to probably clean your drums, and whatever else you need. If it is you do I don't know. I know before they were just two places where you go to chrome your pan. So I don't know if you do it, if that is part of what you do, and you need to have an inventory of the chrome elements to chrome the pan and stuff like that, or if you also make the stands, so then you need metal, the different components to make it and stuff like that, right? Right, so your income statement is basically a profit and loss account. It's the same. Sometimes they call it income statement, other times profit and loss account. Income statement shows your projected revenues, expenses, and profit. So things like all your expenses would be captured there. All your assets will be captured in your balance sheet. So you need to show your assets if you have any at the starter balance sheet. All the assets you have, whether it be equipment, raw materials, cash. If you own a vehicle, if the business owns a vehicle, if you have any debt at the start, the business has any debt, right? And the level of fixtures and fittings you have if you purchase furniture for the office place or the factory floor, you have certain things that you installed, fixtures that you installed and stuff like that. Those things will be in your balance sheet, your starter balance sheet if you're starting up, or just your normal balance sheet as at a certain date. If it is you are a going concern, you're already operating, and you're just doing this business plan to seek to help people understand your business, so they would be interested in providing loans to you or investing in your business. right? Um, the right. So we spoke about this break-even analysis before already, right? Um, the cash flow projections, right? Um, they you use certain assumptions to drive those elements. So your actual cash flow, everything that you have to spend money on in the business, it must be captured in your cash flow projection, right? So that's another statement that you need to generate to be and have as part of your financial plan, right? Now, this part of it is a little bit is very interesting, right? If you go right now and you check online to find out what is the structure of a business plan, you'll probably get at least 10, 11, 12 different sets of structure, sets of information relating to it, right? The information that we have here is just one of them, right? But what all of them would have common would be, I see this here, executive summary. This is the last thing you do, but it appears as the first, right? Highlights the key information and insights from your entire business plan is the last section that you'll write, and the first one you will read. So it's an overview of your business and your plans. It should tell the reader what you want, provides a short, concise, and optimistic overview of the business that captures the reader's attention and creates a need to learn more. Right? And basically it comes first in your plan. It should only be, some people say just have it as one page, right? But ideally 1 to 2 pages. And it's the last thing that you write. After you write your plan, your executive summary is the very last thing, right? Overall, you can choose to group the following, or they could be separate based on the amount of detail in each and who is the primary target of the plan. So like here, you could put your market analysis and your competitive analysis together. You can put your management and your operations. You can put your business and your industry overview together. I'm going to show you something back here. Right, so this was one here, right? This is good to notice we include funding requests. So like if it is you're sending your business plan to the bank, right? You include your funding requests. So everything that you have is supposed to line up with the need for funds in the form of whether it be a loan or whatever. Right, so your projections, your financial projections or your financial plan must support this here. It must show that there is the need for a loan, as the case may be. Right? If you look at this one here, we have executive summary, you have the business or industry overview, which is your business description. Everything we spoke about in the business description, market analysis and competition, sales and marketing plan, ownership and management plan, operating plan, financial plan, appendices and exhibits. Now, if it is you don't have a complicated ownership, right, and you're a small business, probably no more than 3 people, yourself and 2 employees or 1 employee or something like that, you don't need to have this here. You could probably join the management plan to the operating. So you call management and operating plan, right? You have your sales and a marketing plan, and you have your market analysis and competition, where you show what the market looks like, right? The size of the market, right? What exists there right now, and then you show those companies that are making an attempt to capture that market, the same market that you are looking at, or close enough to what you're looking at. Competition, right? So market analysis, you're focusing on the market, you're zeroing on the market that is of interest to you, of interest to your business. And you analyze, after you analyze the market itself, you analyze the competition for that market. So it might be, as we said, because we covered that earlier on, you might be looking at the market for pan sticks, right, in Belgium or in Japan, and you want to explore that market, find out the size of it, find out the buying patterns of the people, of the members of that market, composition of that market, right? You find out, and then you find out competition on the competition side. Who is trying to serve that market, right? Sales and marketing plan, what you're going to do in order to capture, to entice people to buy or make use of your service, right? And then the operating plan, management plan, how you're going to run the business in order to achieve what you wanted to achieve, right? Your financial plan is what is supposed to bring everything together. So the money that it will take you to run the business, the money that it will take you to do your sales and marketing plan, the money you will take to adjust your to do research, to adjust your product, to ensure that it better suits the market, right? All of those together, right? So, so these are your different sections. Again, is a repetition, right? I actually just pulled this from Scotiabank's website, right? Here they have the business description presents background information, defines what information for you and your business, establishes specific milestones for measuring the success in the future, and introduces your product or service. Remember, we spoke about all of these things in terms of the business description, right? The marketplace section describes, positions your business in a larger context, identifies and examines your competition, and describes the types of customer your business targets. This is what we spoke about in terms of here, the market analysis part of it. Who are your customers? Who it is you're targeting? That's 1. And then 2, the competition. Who is already targeting those customers that you identify? Here you have marketplace, position your business analysis. It identifies and examines your competition. They have it flipped. They have competition first, and then the target market. Describes the types of customers your business targets, right? This is the strategy for attracting and keeping customers. The sales and marketing. You must have that as a section by itself, right? And then you have here your business operations. Right? How the business works, staffing issues, how it's managed, and stuff like that. And then your financial, all right, provides financial statements for your business. It really encapsulates everything that you did before. Right, and you can see it here. Market analysis and competitive analysis. You could, if you have so much information in your market analysis, you could have that by itself. And then you have a lot of information on your competitors. That could be a separate section. Similarly, if you have a big management structure, a big management team, you have specific experts that you want to boast about in the business and stuff like that. That could be a separate section, management plan or something like that. You could call it that. Your operations, as I say, is how the businesses is run, how you can put the plans and all that into an actual business, right? Your operations, whether you ever meets the road, right? Business and industry overview. So here in Scotiabank, they have the business, right? And we have the industry, the marketplace. Right, so as I say, business, writing a business plan, the first thing that you need to understand is that throughout everything that you thought you understood before, think of it as your story. You're telling a story. You're telling a story about your business, right? You're telling the story of your business, right? And how you choose to tell it will be determined by the nature of your business, right? The market that you're getting into, right? And the general information that you have to share. So, as I said, sometimes you could combine sections and stuff like that, right? And I think we described the executive summary, right? Right. The assumptions that you use, they drive your planning, and it's important that you use realistic and conservative ones to tell the truth in your story. Don't just write a business plan to get a loan and you know that the information in it is wrong, is incorrect deliberately, right? Because you'll be doing yourself a disservice, right? The assumptions that we have here that drive your planning, you would state those, especially when you're doing your cash flow statements. You'll be making certain assumptions about when it is money would be coming in, when it is money would be going out. You might be looking at seasonality. It might be that during the Christmas time, that will be a peak season for you. So you have more revenue coming in during that period. Christmas into Carnival, normally, right? So you might say that, okay, that's your peak season. So you may have revenue high from the months of November, December, January, February, right? And then a little dip straight into Easter and all that, and then pick back up a little bit, right? Those are the assumptions that you would be making and that you would need to make in order to come with your forecasted figures for your sales and your expenses, right? It's important to keep it short, right? 20 to 30 pages max, right? Try to keep to 20. And if something becomes so long that it is taken away from the focus, what should be the focus of your plan, you put it in the appendices. So, for example, things like resumes and stuff like that, um, information, additional information about product and service, additional information about the industry outside of what you already need to make the points that you need to make your points. Other supporting information that might impress your lenders or investors. You throw all of that in the back. You might even include your brochures and stuff like that as an appendix, but not in the body of your business plan, right? So I need you to remember that your business plan does explain your business's story. It's a living document, right? And you need to understand your plan. I will pause for some, well, that is the essence of my presentation, but I will be open now for any questions that that you may have to clarify anything that you might want to have clarified. Did what I say make any sense? Did you what are some of the things that you understood? Was there some of the things that you didn't understand that you probably might want me to go over or to try to be more specific about? So you can use the chat. You could use the chat, or you could I think there's something that you can request to speak or something like that. I see there's a hand that you can click to request to speak. Okay. Okay, well, tell me something about your business. Why it is you sign up? Tell me why you signed up for this program. Anyone, what it is you wanted to find out, and if it is you got the answer. But just tell me, how often do you review your business plan? You review it anytime anything significant happens that is out of line. If you made certain assumptions, for example, and some of those assumptions are falling flat, then you need to go back and revisit your plan. So, for example, I think I mentioned this, the fact that we had this lockdown, this COVID lockdown, it meant that every single business person was supposed to go back and look at their business plans and make adjustments, try to work out how they're going to survive in this different environment. Okay, Shireen, she says, thanks for the presentation, it was helpful. I'm in the process of doing a business plan. All right, right. So I wanted to get rid of the mysteriousness, the mystique of a business plan. As I said, it's not supposed to be a wedding dress. It's supposed to be a business suit, right? Or even the word suit It's supposed to be a business attire, right? Business attire. It's supposed to be something that you use all the time, right? Not one off. So so I was just trying to show you all that is not um, this big document. It's an important document, but you have to make it your own. You have to own it, right? You have to own your business plan. So in a sense, you just get the four it's really the four key points, you know. Let me see if I get slide preview. I don't know how to okay, there's none. Right. I'm trying to go back to the top. Start presentation. Right. Start presentation. Okay. Review. Yeah. It's essentially 4 parts, you know. 4 parts and an executive summary. I will show you the 4 parts again. Let's take it down. I had to go back. I probably had like about 50 something slides. Right. Okay, I've seen it here. Start. Right. Right. So basically, this is it. You know, your business description. Business description, and with that you have your industry description. You have an assessment of the market, which is your industry description, or your market analysis, you could call it that. Your market analysis and your competitive analysis, right? Yeah, so your business description there. In your business description, you also talk about your goals, what the business is about, and what makes it unique, right? Your marketing plan is how you're going to go about to capture that market that you identified under your market analysis and your competitiveness analysis, right? Which was the first part here, right? A marketing plan, the strategies you're going to employ, right? How is the business going to be operated? How many members of staff? What method is going to be used to run things as a management plan? Your financial plan now, you're giving that cost for all of these things here. You're showing when the business will be profitable. You're showing the cash flow of the business. You're showing the assets and liabilities of the business in the balance sheet, right? And well, you're showing we spoke about profitability when the business, you're showing when the business is going to break even, right? Those are the things that you show. After you complete all of those things, you do your executive summary, and that summarizes everything that you have in your document, right? And you do that in one page. So you're repeating yourself, you know, right? Yeah, that's exactly what the executive summary is. It is supposed to be, if somebody don't have the time to go through your entire business plan, they must understand everything about your business plan by reading the executive summary. Those 2 pages, 1 page or 2 pages of the executive summary must include all the essential elements of your business, of your business's story, right? To sell anybody. So they read the executive summary and then they go to the different sections just to get more detail, right? More detail about what you put in the executive summary, right? But a business plan is essentially just built on these 4 areas, right? Right, and that's it. So the next thing you just need to do is to just structure. I know that people have a little problem with the financial side of it, right? Based on whether or not you did accounting in school, or if you were able to go into to sign up for any classes or anything like that. Um, there are some um, online apps. Well, some apps and some online well accounting sites, right? That do some stuff for you. All right, so you usually just have to enter in some information, and they spit out um, some statements and stuff for you, right? But it's better um, that you learn how to put a balance sheet together, right? As a business person, that's something that you need to understand, even if it means going to a class or something, or pulling up some if you have easy access to the internet, pulling up some YouTube videos and searching whether that's how to do a balance sheet, um, how to do an income statement, or talk to somebody, um, ask somebody who knows how to do it to show you and all that kind of stuff. You have different ways of getting the knowledge, right? Of getting the information. But as a business person, either you need to know that, or you need to have somebody close to you um, that understands and is able to. You really need to know it as the owner of your business, right? Anything financial, you should really know it because you don't want to give somebody that power, right? That much power over your business. You must understand the financial goings and comings of your business, um, how to do a balance sheet, how to do an income statement, and how to interpret it, what it means, right? What it means when you have certain when your bottom line is negative, when you're making a loss, right? It may mean that you have to look at your expense items and see what are some of the bigger expenses that you have and reduce them in some way. Or you're trying to push to generate some additional revenue, right? So it's not just about understanding and doing up a balance sheet or profit and loss income statement or a cash flow statement. A cash flow statement basically would have like month to month, it'd be monthly, and it will show inflows and outflows, right, of cash into your business. You'll be recording it. You identify all your inflows um, and all of your outflows, and you just put figures for what would have been your inflows and what would have been your outflows for each of the months in the year, right? And that is what you need. Um, Kyra. Okay. I didn't see the words before. 20 minutes consultation. Oh, okay. Okay, let me pull back up that. All right. Let's see if I go back down to the end of, I don't know, to move quickly, straight on with this thing. So I'll try to advance the slides now. Right, so let me start on this page here. Right, executive summary. Right, appendices. Right, yeah. Right. What is in front of 20-minute consultation? Okay. Oh, right. Free 20-minute consultation. right? And based on that, let me take it from there, right? Yeah, so that's what that was, right? Right. So ask me anything in relating to business plans. If it is you actually started it as Shireen um, is, if you're at any impasses yet, um, or if it is you plan to start one, um, just let me know. Tell me um, uh, what other questions you may have. Um, if it is you don't know where to start. Right now, a business plan is really, as I say, is an important document that you need to understand fully and appreciate the value of it. Um, Sometimes when you write things down, you get a better perspective. Sometimes as a business person, you might just think, okay, yeah, I have everything in my head. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. But when you write things down and you see before you um, the things that you're doing and somehow they're not linked. So you might be doing some sort of promotional thing, um, but when you look at it, they're not really adding to my bottom line. My main product is XYZ. So why am I doing this? Right? It's yeah. Sometimes things are revealed when you write things down. Um, a lot of you have the information. If it is you're already um, doing your business, if you're already operating, right? You already have knowledge of your business. You have it, right? What you need to do is to write it down. There's a reason why you were interested in getting into certain businesses. Write it down. You probably saw the opportunity. The very same thing that we were seeing, that I showed you, that we saw in the table when we saw that competitor A had average and average product at a high price. Competitor B had a low product at an average price, but there was no high um, quality product at for a high price. Right? There was a space in the market. A lot of you have already seen the spaces, have already seen the opportunities, and that's why you decided to start your business, right? Or looking to start a business, right? Or maybe you see the opportunity, but it's not so clear, right? A business plan will help you get that clarity because you'll be forced to sit down and work out exactly what are you doing that is different from the competitors. Why would people come to you instead of somebody else, right? If you write it down, it it generates a lot of thinking, right? Because you have a lot of information in your mind already, and because you have that information in your mind, you see certain opportunities, right? Um, you probably even did your own on what's the word? It's not the highfalutin research or whatever, but you just probably just um, notice people asking for certain things, and either it's not in the grocery, not in the marketplace, and not in the music shop. Um, People asking for a service that that you don't hear about, and a lot of people coming and asking you about that service, right? All those things are little cues, right? Um, that talks about the opportunity, and those would be those I know would have been the things that would have driven you to get involved in the different businesses that those music related businesses that you have started, right? So what you need to do now is to get it down on paper. Once you get it down on paper, it becomes something that is external to you and you could look at it objectively, right? Right now it's part of you because it just happens in your head, right? But if it is you take it, you pull it out of your mind, you pull it out of your head and you write it down objectively, right? You'll be able to see it in a different light, see where your weak points are, where there might be opportunities to improve it, and to get some additional information that you really didn't have or whatever, that you realize, wait, now, yeah, I really need to get some more information on this to ensure that I cover this this area really fully, really comprehensively, that I really know what the market is, that I really understand what the market wants, so that the products that I am providing or the service that I'm providing really targets the right people and would be accepted in the market, right? So it's about you taking it out from your minds and putting it down, put it on a computer or write it, right? Even if it's not complete, right? You can have call cards. Those not those call cards, those index cards, where you write notes for school and stuff like that. Those index cards, get a couple of them, right? And have one that speaks about business description and write down all this stuff about your business that we spoke about under this business description. Then have another card that deals with the market analysis, right? Have one that deals with your competitors. As I said, you could always join those two sections together if you want when you're actually doing your business plan, right? But you can keep them separate because one is your market and the nature of your market, the customers you're going after, who you're going to target, whether it be by geographical area and geographical region, or whether it be by age, sex, religious affiliation, and all that kind of stuff, right? All of that is your market analysis, right? And then the competitive analysis is who are the other people trying to eat your bread. The same people that you're going after, they more or less looking at the same people, right? And you need to get as much information on them. So you have to do your research. You Facebook them, you see how much specials they're offering. You look at the entire product line and all of that, right? Do a lot of research on the competitors, right? Identify the weaknesses, right? And incorporate those things into your product, right? On another card, you write out your stuff that relates to management or operations. How is your business going to operate, right? How is your business going to operate, and everything we spoke about under that. And then your finance card. You have to work out all of your expenses and all of your startup expenses if you're a startup, or just your normal expenses and income, right? And the things that you own versus the things that you owe. So like if the business owns the vehicle, furniture, stock, and all of those are your assets. If the business owes anything, or you take out a business loan, those will be your liabilities, right? And all of those things, both the things that you own and the things that you owe, they go into your balance sheet, right? So you could do a rough balance sheet on one of those cards, a rough profit and loss. You just have to go through an exercise of identifying all your expenses, your expense items, right? And then identify all your revenue items, the things that will generate revenue for you. And then you come up with some assumptions that would explain the different figures that you put for each of them. So if your expense, if you're saying that your salary's figure will be 3,000 because you're going to hire 2 people and you're going to pay them 1,500 each every month, right? That's an example of an assumption, right? And that is based on how it is you are laying out your business plan in terms of the operation side. In this specific example, is the operation side. When we look at your marketing plan and strategies, right, you need a card for that again. Do a card for marketing, a marketing plan, sales and marketing, right? That's the strategies that you're coming up with to entice customers to take your service. So if you're doing Facebook ads, you're doing an ad campaign with Facebook, you're doing Google ads, you're doing one of those YouTube ads that come on and stuff like that. If you're doing the more traditional things, you're putting flyers in newspapers, or you're putting you're doing a radio ad or whatever. Those are the things that you need to find costs for, right? Put a time into them as part of your advertising in order to come up with your advertising budget and work out your total costs, right? And that total cost, that advertising cost, will go as part of one of the expenses in your income statement, and it will be one of your cash outflows in your cash flow statement, your forecasted cash flow statement. So everything is integrated. The thing is, it is your story, it's one story, supposed to be one story, so everything must be connected. And if you don't understand your story, you don't understand what it is you're trying to see in your business plan, things will get complicated very quickly, and you will just have information there that makes no sense, right? You must understand your plan, you must be telling a story, and the story must be borne out in terms of everything that you're doing. So you're executing certain things. You might need to have a marketing person. You might bring on a marketing person, right? That will be a cost that will show up in your financial side of it in terms of your income statement and your cash flow statement, right? Right. So in terms of your marketing and stuff like that, that'll show up in your finance, your management and all that. That'll show up in finance. Things like your operational stuff, which relates to like location and stuff like that. You may have rent that you have to pay and all that. That again will show up in your income statement, right? Everything is connected. Everything must be connected because it's one story. It must be one story that you're telling. You must understand it. You have to do whatever it takes for you to feel comfortable with what it is you're putting together as your business plan, right? Okay, so we have 15 minutes, and so I will just like to thank you all for being here, for sharing, and those of you that spoke in terms of what it is you do, what businesses you have, and I'm still open for questions. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask, any clarification that you need, right here, open. Again, you could use the chat just to ask any final questions before we close off. Okay. All right. I think you all already asked questions that you wanted to ask. Okay, so I'd just like to thank you for being a part of this session. I'd like to thank MusicTT for having us to share this information that we have. We're really about spreading knowledge to businesses because that's the only way that our country could grow and have a whole set of entrepreneurs that are good at what they do, right? So we need to look at things differently and approach things in a more business setting, a more business focused way, right? And having a business plan is one of those ways of putting your house in order, right? So I would like to thank you all. Thank MusicTT, Carol, and the crew for having us to be part of your session here today. Okay. So thanks again, and have a good weekend.